is nothing more disempowering than feeling so shy and so awkward to the point where you can't strike up a conversation with a person that you want to make a connection with. We are too wrapped up in ourselves and in our own head that we just don't even concentrate on what the other person's saying. So how could we actually have a flowing conversation when we don't know what the fuck they're talking about? You have to make mistakes, you have to embarrass yourself, and you have to embrace it. Own your personality traits as being your own little unique way of being charismatic. You are a charismatic person. Deep down, you are a charismatic person. It is in you. You just need to unlock it. We have to start first by asking ourselves why. Why do we feel shy and awkward, and what is it that's making us feel shy and awkward? I think a lot of the time, purely contextualizing something and purely just getting it down onto paper, why you feel a certain kind of way and what are the things that are holding you back, it really does give you that jumping off point for you to begin your journey. This is why I feel like journaling is so important, and I feel like a lot of people overlook it and think it probably doesn't work for them. But when you contextualize things and you can articulate the way that you feel and get it down on paper, it kind of separates you from your problems and it makes you have more of a objective standpoint and perspective on it, and you can kind of give yourself the advice that you need. So the reason that you might be shy might be purely from the fear of looking stupid if you said something wrong. Or it could even be as simple as not liking the sound of your own voice, not being used to hearing your voice projecting outwards, and then when you actually speak it kind of takes you aback and makes you feel really weird. You might have been gaslit and manipulated in the past to feel like everything that you say is embarrassing and wrong, so it kind of stunts you from saying anything in public now, and it makes you more of a shy person and more introverted because you just want to stay out of people's way and you don't want to be criticized. And ultimately, I feel like it all boils down to this overarching fear of rejection. None of us want to feel rejected. None of us want to put ourselves in a very vulnerable situation where we speak to a stranger, let's say, and then they turn around and say, you're crazy, like, I don't want to speak to you. Realistically, that's not going to happen. Like, that is very likely not going to happen, but we have these crazy fears in our mind anyway, which hold us back from doing the things that we really want to do. If you're watching this video right now, that tells me that you want to be a more charismatic person. You want to know how to speak to people with confidence. And babe, the only way you're going to be able to do that is for you to overcome these fears that we're writing down on paper now and just understanding them, understanding where they come from, giving yourself the opportunity to dig a little bit deeper and maybe overcome these belief systems and make new ones for yourself. So here are some practical tips and some mindset shifts that are really going to help you in this journey of becoming more charismatic and being able to speak to anyone, even as an introvert. First things first is authenticity. Being confident in yourself means that you will be confident in public. People value authenticity so much more than you would even imagine. I never even considered this to be an important thing when I was younger because I just thought like, oh, I can fake it till I make it, I can be whoever I want to be. But at the end of the day, as much as you can fake it till you make it, and that might be something we talk about later, you have to know who you are and honor that so that you can be magnetic and people can be drawn to you. The most weirdest things about yourself that you are probably ashamed of and you feel really like you need to hide from other people, they are probably the things that are going to be the most magnetizing thing about you. Like, they're going to be the things that people are drawn to and they want to connect with you because of those things. So if you're hiding things about your personality, you are essentially blocking yourself off from the world and from connecting with people and from having that magnetic energy. Observation and saturation. Surround yourself with confident people and people who inspire you in your real life, but if that's not possible, do it on YouTube and social media. Watch content creators who you find really inspiring and motivating and you love the way that they talk, you love the way that they present themselves, you love the way that they articulate. Completely saturate your mind with these creators. The more that you watch their content and the more that you observe and take in the things that they say and the way that they act and things like that, the more that is going to influence you and it's going to allow you to kind of learn how to find your own style. Because I'm not for 1 second saying copy other people, because I always say this, but you can either be a really shit version of someone else or the very best version of yourself, and obviously you'd rather be the best version of yourself. You can't copy people's energy, but you can take inspiration from their energy and their vibe. You can take inspiration from their speaking style styles, their confidence, certain traits that they have, there is absolutely nothing wrong in you finding inspiration from that and saturating your mind with those types of people. When I was younger, when I was in school, I used to watch Patricia Bright all the time. Like, she was my girl. I loved her so much. I still love her now. But I always felt like she spoke really well in her videos. Like, I just loved the way that she spoke. I could see that she was a very confident woman. After watching her videos, I would feel more confident in myself, and I felt like I could articulate myself better after watching her videos. Let me give you another example. So say if I'm not watching YouTube content or anything like that, I will find it 10 times harder to film a YouTube video, to sit down and talk to a camera if I've not been watching YouTube videos, because I'm not being surrounded by that kind of lingo and the way that people talk to a camera, and I just kind of forget how to do it because it's not really that natural. So I think when you saturate your mind with content of people like that, it can really inspire you, and it can show you the traits that you want to have in yourself, but the things that are from other people. And when it comes to your real life, surrounding yourself with really inspiring people can be so beneficial. When I spend time with a confident person, I literally feel like I am glowing, I am beaming, I feel 10 times more confident than what I actually was before I went into that situation. Whereas if I'm sat with somebody who's really anxious and self-conscious and insecure, I really feel that energy, and I feel so much more insecure and nervous and not confident when I'm around people like that. So I think spending as much time as you can around people who are really inspiring, and just observing how they speak, even in the workplace, observing how people have small talk, observing the kind of little jokes that people make, and you will naturally learn that and pick it up as you go. Have talking points. So when it comes to small talk, you need things to talk about that people are all gonna know about. You might want to have really deep conversations about the universe and spirituality and life in general, but it's a bit heavy to go into a conversation like that. It's given you've got no social awareness. Having an understanding of like certain events that are going on at the minute, or just things that people are all talking about. So let's say, for example, everyone's talking about the elections at the moment. So learning a little bit about that, watching the news, keeping up with things that are going on right now, so that you actually have something that you can talk to people about and you can discuss and debate and share your opinion. I don't like watching the news personally, and I don't really like keeping up with current affairs that much. So I don't think this is 100% necessary of a step, but I think if you are really not confident in your small talk abilities, I think a great starting point is to learn, or just get familiar with what's going on in the world at the minute, so that you actually have something to talk about and you have something to offer. Even if you don't watch the news, like even if you just read books and get really curious about life and the world and become a student of life, you are always going to have things that you can naturally share. Like, I was literally having a conversation with someone for about 45 minutes about teeth the other day, because I feel like that is something that I know a lot about, and he obviously had a common interest of teeth and braces and things like that. So we were just talking for ages about this one topic. But if you were a person who doesn't really have any interest, doesn't really have any knowledge on things, because I know that was me, like you would think it's not that common, but it actually is very common for people to just not really have any interest, because it was me. It was me, I had no interest. I literally could not give a shit about anything that wasn't going out drinking with my friends. But yeah, when you have things to talk about, it really just enriches your life, and it makes speaking to people so much easier, because you get less caught up in how you look in a conversation and all of the anxieties that surround it, and you get more caught up in the actual conversation because you're interested and you're listening to the other person, they're listening to you, and it's a great time. Just having some substance that you can offer and share with the world will make you so much more confident, and it will make you feel like you can speak to anyone, because you know that you have a giant list of things that you could talk about at any given moment. Fake it till you make it. Create an alter ego who is confident, who is a socialite, who is charismatic and can speak to anybody. This shit does not come naturally to everybody. Let me tell you that right now. Like, I am not a naturally charismatic person. I am not a natural speaker. I am an introverted girl, and I do low-key think that I'm probably on the spectrum in some kind of way. Like, I do feel like I've got a little bit of a spicy brain, and I might be a little bit autistic. Like, I genuinely feel like I might be. But all that being said, I just don't think that I was a natural born conversationalist, but I feel like I get by. Like, I genuinely feel like people would think that I am a conversationalist and people would think that I'm charismatic just because of the things that I've learned and all of the tips that I'm telling you in this video that I've implemented into my life. So sometimes you've got to fake it. You really do. Like, when I first started working in the corporate world, I genuinely found it so insincere and so inauthentic, and it just didn't feel right with me. Like, it just didn't sit well, because I felt like, why am I pretending to be really, really happy like every single day and like having these stupid conversations about the weather and things that I'm really not interested in? Why am I doing that every day? And like, why am I pretending that I'm happy and putting a smile on my face? It felt really wrong to me, and it felt like I was just being fake, and I didn't like it. But what you learn as you become older and you get out into the adult world is that you kind of have to be a little bit fake sometimes. You have to fake it till you make it, and you have to pretend like you're interested in these things. You have to pretend like you're interested in the weather. I've learned as I've gotten older that it's not actually fake at all. I think it's just having an interest in other people and extending a little bit of compassion and kindness to people in day-to-day life, and showing that you care about people and you want to get to know them. If that means sparking up random conversations about the weather and things that you don't really care about just to have that connection with somebody, I don't think that's fake, because you're wanting to make a connection with someone. There is a reason why you're doing that, but it does feel unnatural at first. It feels really weird and inauthentic. I had to literally change my voice to work in the environment that I was, because I was working in a solicitor's, and I got told that I speak like I work in a corner shop. I got told that I speak really common and I needed to really speak more correctly on the phone. So yeah, that was very rude of whoever said it to me, but I guess it kind of did make me speak a little bit better, and I did learn something from it. But in the beginning, it felt like I was being fake. It felt like I wasn't being myself. But sometimes you do just have to fake a situation. You do have to fake that initial conversation start with someone, even if you don't really have anything to speak about, but you know that you want to connect with that person. It's not fake, it's just an opening. I also think knowing that you have different connections with people in life, like different relationships, you have your working relationships and your acquaintances who you don't have deep conversations with. Like, you'll just have small talk and surface level conversations, and it's not to say that those conversations are bad or they're fake or they're wrong. It's purely the nature of that relationship, and it's completely natural. And I have actually learned to love the silly little small talk that I have. Like, it's not my favorite, don't get me wrong. I would rather have deep conversations and deep connections with people, but you can't have deep connections with everyone. So learning how to do that small talk and understanding that it's not being fake to have small talk and pretend to be really happy when you're not, and put a smile on your face when you're feeling like a piece of shit. It's not easy, it's not natural, but it's just what you do, and it's just etiquette. So yeah, all of that is to say that if you feel like you're being fake and you feel like it's just really unnatural, and that's why you don't want to start conversations with people because you can just feel that you're being fake, just know that you're not being fake. You are literally just doing what the whole entire population does in order to be a charismatic person who can speak to anyone. Learn how to listen to other people and be a little bit mindful. I think a lot of the time when we are facing a little bit of social anxiety, we are too wrapped up in ourselves and in our own head that we just don't even concentrate on what the other person's saying. So how could we actually have a flowing conversation when we don't know what the fuck they're talking about? Sometimes all you've got to do is learn how to listen. Listening to people is so important when you're having a conversation, and I feel like this was something that was really difficult for me because my attention span is just not the one. But I find it really difficult to concentrate when people are talking to me, so I have to really be mindful when I'm having a conversation to not be thinking about myself, not be over obsessing about how I look or the way that I'm speaking and things like that, and just purely focus on what the person is saying. I even find this, like, sometimes when I'm reading a book, I literally read over the same line for about 10 minutes because it just will not go in my brain. I just keep thinking of other things and my attention span is just not focused on it. But it's one of those things that you're just going to have to keep practicing and just learn how to do, and it's never going to be perfect. You might still find yourself drifting off midway in a conversation and thinking, shit, what did they just say? but I can guarantee that once you learn and master the skill of listening to people and really caring about what people say, not just listening for the sake of like waiting for the conversation to end or waiting for you to say your piece, actually listening to somebody and showing interest in what they're saying and asking questions. If you're not sure what to say, just ask them a question. Ask them what they meant if you didn't understand it, or you could ask them for more information on a certain point, blah, blah, blah. This has been really, really, really crucial in my journey because I don't think that I'm the most, as I've said before, I don't think I'm the most charismatic person. But when you show a general interest in somebody else, you learn so much from that person. And it kind of acts as a little bit of a buffer. Like when you don't know what to say and you don't have like a quick, witty response, you can just ask a question or you can show your interest in that other person. And that other person is going to appreciate that and value that so much, because I feel like we live in a world where everyone just wants to talk about themselves and like they feel like they don't really get listened to or seen or heard. So if you can be that person who sees and hears a person and listens and understands and shows that you care, people really value that and people really see that as a good character trait in yourself, and they will naturally think that you are a charismatic person because you're a good listener. Sometimes you don't even need to speak. Sometimes you need to just listen and actually care about what the people are saying. Even if you don't care about what they're saying, like, you know, when someone tries to tell you about the book that they're reading, sometimes like that is just, it's long, like you just don't want to hear it, especially if it's not a book that you would ever read in your life. But when you actually open your mind a little bit and just think, let me see what I can find of interest in this story and let me just be curious about what they're telling me, you actually learn so much and you open your mind to a different world, and it's enlightening. I feel like listening is just as important of a part of being a good conversationalist and being charismatic as talking is. And also, the more that you listen to other people, the more that you are learning and you are absorbing the way that they speak and like the different tones and things like that. Like, you are learning all of that and you are becoming a better conversationalist just from listening to how other people speak. So never discredit the power of listening. And finally, practice and be prepared to embarrass yourself. The harsh truth of all of this is that I know you would rather just watch a video of how to be a good conversationalist, how to be charismatic, and then instantly learn from that video all the tips that you need to learn. They're like groundbreaking advice and you can apply that, and then all of a sudden you are magically a charismatic person. It doesn't work like that. You can learn all the tips in the world and you can really take it into your brain and understand it and practice it within yourself. But if you are not taking that out into the real world, you're never going to get good at it. You're never going to really truly expand your social skills. So getting out into the world, doing things that are out of your comfort zone, and being prepared to make stupid mistakes and make a fool out of yourself. Understanding that making a fool out of yourself and embarrassing yourself and making mistakes is inevitable and it is always going to happen. You can try and protect yourself from embarrassing yourself and making an idiot out of yourself, but what good does that do? Like, you're not going to learn anything from that. You're just going to stay stuck in the same place that you are right now, and you're not going to be content with your life, because obviously you're watching this video to try to be better, but you're never going to be better if you don't practice. So you have to make mistakes, you have to embarrass yourself, and you have to embrace it and really just own your mistakes. If you are a naturally awkward person like I am, you need to just own it. You need to just step into that authenticity, like I said in the beginning, and just own your personality traits as being your own little unique way of being charismatic. I think that I am a deeply charismatic person now because I have practiced it so much. I have been working in the corporate world for about 8 years now, and I feel like I have built so many social skills, and I feel like I can literally speak to anyone because I have implemented all of these tips. I've learned how to be my most authentic self, and naturally people just radiate or gravitate towards that. So yeah, make it a fun game. Make it a challenge to make as many mistakes as you can and to embarrass yourself as much as possible, because exposure therapy is the only way for you to get to the other side. That you need to push through all the embarrassment, push through all the failures, push through all of the rejection that you're going to face, and just get out the other side being so much more confident and just being fearless when it comes to speaking to anybody. You are a charismatic person. Deep down, you are a charismatic person. It is in you. You just need to unlock it. And unfortunately, the main way and the most certain way that you can get there and unlock that path for yourself is to embarrass yourself a little bit and to say the wrong thing and to understand that everybody is on that path too, and everybody's going to embarrass themselves. Everybody embarrasses themselves on a regular basis. I see it at work. We're all in the same boat, and like I embarrass myself too, and it's just a natural part of life. If you don't know how to handle embarrassment and you can't just laugh it off, then you are going to be a prisoner of your embarrassment and you're never going to do anything with your life. So don't be afraid to just get out there, live your life, get yourself out of your comfort zone, and just practice your social skills. Practice everything that I told you in this video and implement it into your life. Okay guys, they were all my points on how to be an amazing conversationalist and charismatic. I hope these tips helped you in some kind of way. These tips have literally been my roadmap throughout my work life, and I feel like I've learned so much since being in the corporate world, and just since being an adult in general. I have learned so much when it comes to social skills and how to speak to anyone. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know the things that you feel like hold you back from being the most authentically confident version of yourself, who can literally just speak to anybody and not be embarrassed and not feel stupid. I love you guys so much. Also, for my real ones who care about my life, I am actually moving into my house in like a couple of weeks, and I cannot be more excited. I've also started my new job. I don't know if I said that in my last video, but I've been working in my new job now for like a week and a bit, and I am loving it. I'm on my second week and I am just loving the vibes, and I feel like that's kind of inspired this video because I'm in a new workplace. It's scary, there's new people, but I have learned more than ever. Like, I've actually realized about myself that I am a very charismatic person and that I can speak to anyone, but it has not always been this way. I used to be so awkward, like painfully awkward, painfully shy, and I didn't dare speak to anybody. So it's nice to see the growth, and it's nice to see how far I've come in this time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!